Welcome back to the Buffalo Plus channel. Mike Catalana, I'm Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
We're wearing sunglasses.
We're wearing sunglasses. I'm wearing a tank top. You're sweating. It's hot. We're in Tampa. It is beautiful.
Yeah. Last week, Dan was with me, and we were in Orchard Park. And a lot of you were at the game. It was miserable.
Yeah.
I mean, it was miserable. This is pretty nice.
There's yachts everywhere, party boats,
Yeah,
Bills
we know.
fans.
This is where Brady was throwing the trophy around right behind us.
Yeah. Don't want to bring that
I know.
up for
Well,
some
we're going to
Bills
see him
fans.
tomorrow. We're going to see him.
All right, huge game coming up for this Bills team. We are going to talk about the players that are going to make an impact or expect to make an impact in the game. We got to start first and foremost with Josh Allen.
It's assumed Josh makes an impact in every game. He's Josh Allen. He's the Bills quarterback. But I think maybe for the first time since the beginning of last season, when we were trying to figure out Josh, you got to even mention it a little more, because his impact tomorrow should be substantial. And I'm talking about on the Josh Allen scale of substantial.
Yeah.
I'm not just talking about that he's the bulk of the offense. We know that. It's got to be throw the ball with Josh, run the ball with Josh. I'm not saying you can't use other players. You got to get it to Diggs. You got to get it to Sanders. You got to do all that. But it's got to be a Josh Allen focused offense. Get 17 going either way and try to get this offense going.
And Josh, we've seen in the past him have that MVP caliber type of game. He needs to have that tomorrow. He really does. He's the best player on the offense. He's the best player. Get him to get to his guys, feed his players, Stephon Diggs being one of them, have him run the ball a little bit. But I just feel like he's your best weapon in every way.
Yeah.
So use him. Use what he does.
And I'm not saying that they don't use him. I mean, the last week the talk was they didn't throw enough. And they did throw the ball 30 times.
Yeah.
They did. But he didn't run it. He really didn't run the ball. And I don't know how much of that was the Patriots. This Tampa front is really good. The front seven, we'll talk more about that in a minute. But you can spread them out a little bit. They struggle in the secondary right now, and I think Josh is going to have an opportunity to get the ball to those guys and also have an opportunity to take off with his legs.
Well, what might make it a little bit easier is John Feliciano being activated off the IR, someone that we know has had experience with this team. He's struggled to stay on the field this season, but Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen talking about how he adds a nastiness to this offensive line. Feliciano, though, he really hasn't played that much, but do you think he can make an impact?
Yeah, he can. The experience helps. I think it makes them a better line when he's out there. He came back as a smaller guy.
Yeah.
And I don't think they like that, and I don't think he's played well, and he hasn't been able to stay on the field. I don't think it's been a plus for him or for them. But that being said, they want to put their best five out there. I think right now he belongs as one of their best five, and I think he's going to play. So I think that's helpful. They activated him from the IR. You're not activating him if he's not starting and playing.
Yeah.
So he's going to be on the field.
Yeah, and I think you had a stat that you mentioned on Twitter and other places about how this offensive line, really when you look at it, like all the pieces really haven't been out there.
No. Spencer Brown, when he got the start at right tackle, that began in the Chiefs game. And then the Titans game after that. When Brown and Feliciano started together on the same line, the Bills scored 38 against Kansas City, 31 in that Titans game. Now, they lost the Titans game, and they had a few struggles at the end. But in total, we'll take, looking at what this Bills offense can do, the production they got in the Kansas City and Tennessee games.
Yeah. You want to see points tomorrow. I feel like it's going to be one of those shootout type of games. And I want to see this Bills team go, punch for punch with this offense. We talk about the Bills offense. Another play to add, Emmanuel Sanders, and for a different reason.
Yeah, I mean, Demaryius Thomas died suddenly, 33 years old, former Denver Bronco, and everybody knew him around the league and knew he was a good player, was helping them win a Super Bowl. Yeah. But I almost forgot that he and Emmanuel Sanders not only were teammates, but is Sanders' best friend.
Yeah.
And this was a sudden thing, and he took off from practice on Friday. They gave him the personal day. It's expected he's going to play in the game unless something changes over the next 24 hours that we haven't heard. And look, Emmanuel Sanders is a pro's pro. Mm-hmm. He knows this game. Yeah. He knows what his job is and his role is. But I also believe he's the kind of guy that is going to play for his current teammates, and he's going to play for his now past teammate in Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah.
And not necessarily that he needs extra motivation to play well against the BUCS. I feel for the guy. I think he's a team-first guy. He's been a great addition to this team. but you know he's got to be hurting.
Oh, absolutely. You know that's going to be on his mind as things come tomorrow. And I feel like for Emmanuel Sanders and his relationship and his friendship with Demaryius Thomas, like I would imagine if I were in his position, I would want to ball out.
Oh, no doubt.
For Demaryius Thomas and what a friend he was to him. It adds a little extra layer, I feel like, to this game, because this is already an emotional game for this Bills team, and then add in that factor, and it makes it that much more.
You use the word emotion for different reasons. I expect the Bills to play with a lot more emotion tomorrow.
Yeah.
I really do. I want to see a little, we keep talking about this, I want to see a little anger. Their season doesn't end if they lose the game to the BUCS. But, man, it's in trouble,
jeopardy,
right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to. They can still make the playoffs. All those things can happen. But, man, you can jumpstart everything. And I think in that room, you saw Sanders at practice on Wednesday. He's the guy that jumped up in the middle of the huddle, right? Josh got him started, and then Sanders took over. I think there's a thought that this is what this team needs.
Absolutely, and we had not seen that. At the end of actually not the end of practice, at the end of the stretching portion, they always break the team down. Josh gets everyone in, and seeing Sanders yelling in guys' faces, like in that, hey guys, let's go.
Yeah.
Like it's time. He's a guy, like you said, a lot of experience. He's been in this position before. He's played in huge games, obviously, as well. And for him to kind of do that, something we haven't seen, but I think something that this Bills team needs, because, look, that was a tough loss against the Patriots. We all know that. But to get on track and then some would be to win against this BUCS team. All right, we talk about a guy with plenty of experience. To the other side of the ball, Dane Jackson, filling in for Trey White. He's never gone against Tom Brady before.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm nervous for Dane. I'm sure Dane is nervous for Dane. I'm sure Bills fans are nervous for Dane. But the fact that Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer are there as veteran presence, does that make you feel a little better?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt about it. You also have Leslie Frazier. You have Sean McDermott.
Yeah.
They know how to scheme. They're really good with the secondary. The Bills still have given up the least amount of touchdown passes in the league. I think they're 3 lower than any other team in the league. I know that was with Trey White, without him, but it's not all Trey. They have really good players back there. But I will say this. TB12 is going after Dane Jackson.
Pick on him.
And Jordan Poyer told the story about when Levi Wallace started his first time against the Patriots, and they go out there on the field, and I think he said 6 of the first 8 passes that he threw, or first 8 plays, he went right at Levi. So they get to the sidelines, and they're all looking at each other going, well, I guess we know what the game plan's going to be today. They're going after Levi, and that's what you have, right?
Yeah.
They pick on the guy. They're going to test him right away.
Yeah.
They're going to test him. And they have the guys with Godwin, certainly with your buddy Mike Evans.
Yeah.
They've got Gronk in the middle. They have a lot of talent to go catch the ball. They do. But you know what? Dane Jackson's a talented young player, and I think in the right scheme with the right way, doesn't mean he's got to get blown up in this game. Levi's got to play well. Dane Jackson's got to play well, and I'll say it like they do. Next man up. Got to expect it out of him.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in because of what Trey White was to this team. But again, this is Dane Jackson's second season. He's filled in spots and has been able to be that guy that can kind of be reliable. Now, this is a huge test, but again, I think having that veteran leadership around him, having Leslie Frazier, Sean McDermott, I think that's huge. And also, McDermott and Leslie have talked about it. They're like, we just want Dane Jackson to be Dane Jackson.
Yeah.
We don't expect him to be Trey White, and I think that's big in terms of expectations as well. All right, we're talking about, the Bills playing defense. Leonard Fournette is another weapon on this BUCS offense. He was having a great year. I mean, there's so many weapons on this offense, catching passes out of the backfield. He's a guy, he had 4 touchdowns a couple games ago. He should scare Bills fans.
Yeah, he does. He's a great all-around player, blocker, aware, pass catcher, runs hard. What do they call him? They call him Playoff Lenny.
Playoff Lenny.
And Lombardi Lenny were the things they call him. It's funny, when a guy starts his career in Jacksonville, and Jacksonville did have a couple decent seasons in there, but everybody who's there and then goes on somewhere else, it's almost like the old Bills days where you get labeled with the team you were with a little bit.
Yeah.
He got out of there, and he ends up with Brady, and you can tell Brady connects with these guys.
Yeah.
Guys you wouldn't think he would, like he did with Antonio Brown with his fake COVID card and is not playing in the game. But he connects with these guys that he knows are talented and need a jump start, and he's a really smart football player. And you watch him. You're going to see him in the game coming out of the backfield. Picture all these weapons going out there, and then there's Lombardi Lenny just sneaking out and catching the ball. He's a weapon. They have him. They got him all over the place.
Yeah.
Outscore him is what you're going to need to do in this game. But Fournette is a guy, you guys know about him, that he's going to be, mention Brady.
Yeah.
But, it's still Tom Brady.
Yeah.
It's Tom Brady.
It's Tom Brady.
And
Tom Brady.
Now, I will say this, and the last part about him. While he is 32-3 in his 35 games against the Bills.
32-3.
Yeah, since McDermott has gotten there, Brady hasn't hammered them passing.
Correct.
He had one big game early against McDermott's team, but since then, even he had a decent game at the end of 19. The earlier game, he wasn't great in that game against them. They've kept him. Now, again, that was with the weapons in New England, but he hasn't crushed them. That would be good for the Bills if he doesn't crush them on Sunday.
Yeah, I feel like that's what Bills fans would hope for and like to see. All right, we know that the Bills are going to try and get after Tom Brady. We know he does not like to be hit. We know that he doesn't play well after being hit this season. He's 44 years old. He's almost 45. That's crazy. That's something else. But let's talk about this BUCS front seven and Vita Vea and what he does for them, because he lost his tooth a couple games ago. That dude is a monster.
He is. He just gets after it. He takes up 2 blockers. He's what the Bills need. Every team needs that.
Yeah.
By the way, he came to the BUCS as part of the Josh Allen trade. Again, when you look at it, it's not quite when the Patriots drafted Gronk and the Bills took Terrell Troop. You went after a draft pick, you moved up, and you end up getting Josh Allen. So you're fine with that. But they get this guy. And Vita Vea is like he's a force, and he pushes the pocket. He clears things out for their linebackers. They can get pressure in that way. Look, you said it. You got to protect Allen and let him throw. If that happens, if he gets time, he can pick this secondary apart.
Yes.
He really can. There's going to be guys running open against the BUCS. They can do it. They lost to Trevor Siemian, and they lost to Taylor Heineke. All right, so
there are weaknesses for them to export. And in terms of a matchup, I like this way better than I did the Patriots game. Also, weather not included in that. But at the same point, I feel like they do match up better in this game because of what Allen can do, and knowing that secondary could be a weakness.
Yeah.
And I think I was reading somewhere they've started like 8 corners this year. Like, they've really struggled to keep guys healthy. That's a huge part of it as well. Yeah. But man, this game, I'm just. You talked about how much this game means. What would a win here do?
Oh, massive turnaround. Changes everything. Changes the narrative outside the room and to some extent inside the room too. They need something good to happen.
Yeah.
It really hasn't been great. They won in New Orleans. There were games they won. It's been back and forth. But they need a jump start. This season needs a jump start. Mm-hmm. This would be a pretty big jump start to get it right here, home of the champs, Tom Brady. Yeah. All of a sudden, you get that 8th win. Now you're saying to New England, we're not walking away here.
Yeah.
We still got a shot. Next week, New England's got the Colts. Bills have Carolina. You can totally change the narrative pretty fast and get ready to go to Foxborough again if you come out and play against the BUCS.
And I know we talked about how the BUCS last season, before their Super Bowl run, they were 7-5 after 12 games as well. So it's not. Yeah, I was just saying. Now, it's a tall task, obviously, but I think this Bills team getting ready for a big matchup here tomorrow. We're gonna struggle here in Tampa.
Which one you want, Jenna? The station
what
will
yacht?
buy you one. Buffalo Plus will buy you whichever yacht you want.
I want the biggest one.
Okay. Well, we can sneak on there. I don't know if we're going to be able to.
I think,
Yeah,
no.
Some nice little boats.
Yeah, no.
I don't see
really
Tom and Giselle anywhere.
No, me either. Yeah. Maybe he's getting ready.
Yeah,
Tampa's beautiful. The weather's great here. We'll have plenty more coverage coming up. Tomorrow we'll be on the field. We'll get talking to it. We'll see what we've seen before the game. We'll have all that coming up. For Mike Catalana, I'm Jenna Cottrell. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sticking with us with our shades on. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy our content.